There's a reason so many people feel exhausted, even when life looks fine. They have a job, a family, responsibilities. They get up every morning and do what needs to be done. Yet deep inside, something feels heavy. Not because life is too hard, but because their mind never rests. It keeps thinking, worrying, analyzing, judging, predicting, replaying the past, imagining the future. Most people believe the answer is to think more, but often the opposite is true. What drains you isn't life itself. It's the endless conversation happening inside your head. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Most people never realize what that means. The problem isn't that you have thoughts. The problem is that you believe every thought you have. You believe the fear, the doubt, the criticism, the voice telling you that you're not enough, that you must fix yourself before you can find peace, and that belief becomes suffering. Stoicism teaches something different. You don't need to win every battle in your mind. You don't need to control every emotion. You don't need to become perfect. You simply need to stop fighting yourself. In this video, you'll discover 8 mental habits quietly stealing your peace, and more importantly, how to let them go. Not to become someone else, but to return to who you already are. Stop treating yourself like a problem to fix. Many people spend their lives believing they are not enough, not successful enough, not disciplined enough, not confident enough, not strong enough. So every day becomes another self-improvement project, another attempt to become someone better. Growth is valuable, but there's a dangerous question hiding underneath. Are you improving because you respect yourself, or because you can't accept yourself? Those are 2 very different paths. One creates growth. The other creates exhaustion. When you constantly see yourself as a problem, life becomes an endless test. Every mistake feels like failure. Every weakness feels unacceptable. Nothing is ever enough. The Stoics understood something important. You can improve without hating who you are today. A tree doesn't grow by rejecting its roots. It grows because it is nourished. So do you. You are not a broken machine. You are not a flawed product waiting for repair. You are a human being. And human beings are allowed to be imperfect. The Stoic lesson is simple. Keep growing, but stop turning your life into a war against yourself. You are not your thoughts. Most people live as if they are the voice inside their head. A fearful thought appears. They become afraid. A painful memory returns. They relive it. A doubt arises. They believe it. But thoughts are not facts. They are events, nothing more. The Stoics understood that thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky. The problem begins when you chase them, feed them, argue with them, build your identity around them. Think about the calmest moments of your life. Watching the ocean, listening to rain, sitting quietly alone. What changed? Not the world. Your mind became quiet. That moment reveals a powerful truth. If you can observe a thought, then you cannot be the thought. There is a deeper part of you watching it. A calmer part. A stronger part. A steadier part. Stoicism does not teach you to stop thinking. It teaches you to stop following every thought. And that is where freedom begins. Peace doesn't come when thoughts disappear. Peace comes when they no longer control you. Overthinking is not wisdom. The mind loves one illusion. It convinces you that more thinking will solve everything. But most of the time, it doesn't. Have you ever spent hours worrying about a problem? What changed? Usually very little. The problem remained, only your energy disappeared. Many people confuse mental activity with progress. They analyze, predict, rehearse, and call it preparation. But a rocking chair moves all day and goes nowhere. The mind can do the same. Epictetus asked a simple question: what is within my control right now? That question cuts through most anxiety, because most worries live outside your control. The future, other people's opinions, things that haven't happened, things that may never happen. We waste energy fighting ghosts, while ignoring the present moment. The Stoics did not think less. They thought more carefully. They gave attention only to what mattered, and then they acted, because wisdom is not thinking about everything. Wisdom is knowing what deserves your attention and what deserves to be released. Stop answering every thought. Imagine someone knocking on your door every minute, day after day. You wouldn't open the door every time, so why do you do it with your mind? A fear appears. You react. A memory returns. You dive into it. A negative thought shows up. You start arguing with it. This is how most people live. They respond to every voice in their head, and eventually they become exhausted. Not because life is difficult, but because they are carrying thousands of unnecessary conversations. Epictetus taught that events don't disturb us. Our judgments about them do. A thought is just a thought, until you believe it. A fear is just a fear, until you feed it. The Stoics didn't fight every thought. They didn't try to control them either. They simply watched and let them pass, like clouds crossing the sky. No chasing, no resisting, no attachment. Because not every thought deserves your attention, and whatever receives your attention grows. Feed fear, and fear grows. Feed anger, and anger grows. Feed doubt, and doubt grows. The Stoic lesson is simple. Not every thought needs a response. Sometimes wisdom is silence. And sometimes peace begins the moment you stop arguing with your own mind. Stop monitoring yourself all the time. There is a kind of exhaustion few people recognize. The exhaustion of constantly watching yourself. Am I improving? Am I confident enough? Am I doing this right? What do people think of me? Why am I still feeling this way? At first, this looks like self-awareness, but often it becomes self-surveillance. You become both the prisoner and the guard. Every emotion gets analyzed. Every mistake gets recorded. Every weakness gets examined. Life turns into an endless performance review. Marcus Aurelius didn't spend his days analyzing himself. He focused on the task in front of him, the duty of the moment, the next right action. Many people today do the opposite. They observe themselves so much that they forget how to live. They measure happiness instead of experiencing it. They measure confidence instead of practicing it. They measure peace instead of resting in it. And the more they measure, the further it slips away. A tree does not grow by checking its height every hour. It grows by simply being alive. So do you. You do not need to constantly evaluate yourself. You need to live according to your values. Then let time do its work. Sometimes peace arrives the moment you stop watching yourself so closely. You are not broken. One of the most damaging lies people believe is this: if I'm struggling, something must be wrong with me. If I feel lost, if I feel afraid, if I feel uncertain, if I don't have all the answers, then I must be failing. But that isn't true. It's simply part of being human. A winter season does not mean a tree is dead. A storm does not mean the sky is broken. And a difficult chapter does not mean your life is off course. The Stoics understood this deeply. They did not see pain as proof of failure. They saw it as part of the journey. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that obstacles are not interruptions to life. They are life. The real problem is that most people suffer twice. First, from the pain itself. Then from judging themselves for feeling it. You feel sad, then ashamed of being sad. You feel anxious, then ashamed of being anxious. You feel lost, then ashamed of not being stronger. That second layer of suffering is often heavier than the first, and completely unnecessary. Stoicism does not demand perfection. It does not demand certainty. It does not demand constant strength. It simply reminds you, you are human. You are allowed to struggle, allowed to be afraid, allowed to be confused, allowed to not have everything figured out. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you alive. Stop trying to control every emotion. Most people spend their lives fighting their emotions. They don't want sadness. They don't want fear. They don't want anxiety. They don't want uncertainty. So they resist, suppress, distract, escape. But the harder they fight, the stronger those emotions become. Try not to think about fear, and fear grows louder. Try to avoid pain, and pain follows you everywhere. The Stoics understood something most people miss. Not every emotion needs to be fixed. Some emotions simply need to be felt. Sadness is not your enemy. Fear is not weakness. Uncertainty is not failure. They are visitors, nothing more. The problem begins when you turn temporary feelings into permanent identities. Marcus Aurelius never tried to become emotionless. He learned not to become a slave to emotion. That is very different. When an emotion arrives, notice it, feel it, allow it, then let it leave, without panic, without judgment, without resistance, because emotions are like weather. No storm lasts forever. No rain falls forever. The Stoic lesson is simple. You do not control every wave. You learn how to stand steady in the ocean. That is real strength. Stop measuring your progress every day. Many people quit because they keep checking for results. Every day they ask, am I better yet? Am I stronger yet? Am I healed yet? Am I successful yet? The question seems harmless, but it quietly destroys growth. Imagine planting a tree, then digging it up every day to see if it has grown. That sounds ridiculous. Yet many people do exactly that with their lives. They constantly measure, constantly compare, constantly evaluate, and eventually become discouraged. Not because they aren't growing, but because growth is slower than they expected. The Stoics understood that the most important changes happen quietly. Wisdom, patience, discipline, character. These things develop over years, not days. Marcus Aurelius focused on one question: did I do the right thing today? Not how far have I come. That shift changes everything. Wise people focus on direction. Impatient people focus on distance, and impatience creates suffering. One bad day does not erase years of growth. One setback does not destroy your progress. One mistake does not define your future. The Stoic lesson is simple: do what is right today, then do it again tomorrow. Trust the process, and let time handle the rest. Conclusion: if there is one lesson to remember, it is this: you do not need to fix yourself. You do not need to win every battle in your mind. You do not need to control every emotion, and you certainly do not need to become perfect before you deserve peace. Most suffering comes from fighting yourself, fighting your thoughts, fighting your emotions, fighting your past, fighting who you are. But the harder you fight, the more exhausted you become. Stoicism teaches a different path, not self-conquest, self-acceptance. Focus on what you can control. Release what you cannot. Stop carrying battles that were never yours to fight. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are not your fears. You are not your mistakes. You are not other people's opinions. You are a human being living a human life. And perhaps what you need most right now is not more effort, but more compassion for yourself. If this message resonated with you, comment, "I choose peace," and tell us what you are ready to let go of today. A fear, a pressure, a battle that has lasted too long, share it below. And if you want more practical Stoic wisdom for a calmer, stronger, and freer life, subscribe and join us on the journey. Because peace is not something you create. It is something you uncover when you stop fighting yourself